That year, the deepest hatred was when I forced myself to marry the season. She has autism and was forcibly kissed. She won't tell on me, she just stares at me with tearful eyes. Treated like a privately kept canary, she can only whimper and cry softly. We hated each other intensely, but on a winter night later, I was merely 2 hours late. In that time, he called me many times. In the silent, missed voice messages, her voice echoed repeatedly with emotion. Chuan Chuan, come back to me. The day I joined the Shen family, after my mom remarried, I instantly took a liking to Shen Yue the moment I saw her. With her delicate features and porcelain-like fair skin, she was simply clad in a white dress. Sitting quietly on the sofa, she looked just like the doll I had once yearned for. I was captivated by her beauty. I constantly trailed behind her, calling her sister, but Shen Yue never paid any attention to me. She was only interested in boring texts. The mother, who was my only companion back then, to quickly adapt to the new family. She gradually started to ignore me. Plus, my stepfather's indifference. I frequently felt frustrated. Shen Yue is autistic. Ever since her mother died, she hasn't stepped out of the house since. She spends all day locked in her room. So, her skin is white because a sickly pale that has never seen sunlight. My mom first came into the Shen family to look after her with round-the-clock care. Shen Yue slowly got used to her mom being around. Her stepdad gradually fell for her mom. Choosing to get married was just a natural step. But after the marriage, my mom began to focus solely on her stepdad, slowly neglecting both me and Shen Yue. To win my stepfather's favor, I took it upon myself to look after Shen Yue. Every morning, the first thing I do is to help Shen Yue change her clothes. She seems to be unaware of the joys of staying up late. She wakes up early every day. Then, she sits by the bed with a vacant look. I kindly loosen her nightgown. After admiring her beauty, I help her put on her clothes. It is odd that I couldn't resist kissing her cheek. I noticed her long, thick, curled eyelashes quivering slightly. I burst out laughing with excitement. In the end, he pushed me hard to the ground. If I hadn't run fast afterwards, I probably would have been killed by her during her episode. I was completely straightforward when I brought him lunch at noon. I put the lunch on the table by the door and just walked away. I went back to pick up the lunch bowl after an hour. In the afternoon, after the sunlight faded, I went to turn on the light for her. In the evening, I have to wait for my stepfather to return. After the father and daughter finished their interaction, Shen Yue went to sleep. But tonight, the stepfather has other matters to attend to. Mom asked me to go and tell Sister Ji to rest early. I'm worried. She's still upset. I knocked on the door and waited a couple of minutes before going in. It felt a bit different from usual. Today, Shen Yue wasn't reading. She stared blankly out into the pitch-black night. I figured she was waiting for the stepfather. I whispered, "Uncle Shen has a dinner tonight. You should get some rest." He ignored me for quite a while, staying silent. It felt like he was frozen in place. I gave him a gentle poke. Once I made sure he wasn't having another episode, I wrapped my arms around her from behind. I pulled her with her slender waist onto the bed. When I pulled down her clothes, her fair skin glowed strikingly in the light. I stepped back a couple of paces to watch the scene unfold. I switched to pajamas as goosebumps appeared on her skin. With each passing day, I grew more possessive of Shen Yue, so when I overheard my stepdad talking about her marriage with my mom downstairs, the string of reason broke. I turned irritable and short-tempered. I always silently endured my mother's favoritism. I kept recalling my stepfather's indifference over and over. The pent-up, negative emotions exploded one ordinary afternoon. It all started when Shen Yue knocked over the cup. This was just a trivial matter. I shouldn't have gotten angry, but when the sesame seeds fell everywhere, it was enough to push me to the edge. Unable to hit him, I restrained her hands and feet and kissed her passionately, over and over again. She naively doesn't know how to breathe. She often gasps for air, turning her face red. Her warm body trembles involuntarily. Her eyes take on a sorrowful look. A muffled gasp escapes from her throat. I watch quietly. Suddenly, I find myself no longer angry. Yet, I find myself loving him even more. Afterward, I would listen to them discussing how to find a good son-in-law. I went ahead and forced a marriage. Each day, after successfully forcing the marriage, I would treat her like a princess. I would serve her tea, bring her water, and help her get comfortable. I would practically feed her myself, but come nightfall, I would treat her like a racehorse and push her around. Only my mom knows the truth about Shen Yue, but she couldn't change my rebellious mind. The only thing we can do is to make soup every day to help us regain our strength. And my stepfather sticks to us like glue. He assumed that I was taking great care of Shen Yue. He looked at me directly for the first time. He asked whether I would like to join the company. I was surprised by this unexpected offer. Yet, I was hesitant to part with the comfortable haven I had created. I told him I needed some time to think it over. The furrows on my stepfather's brow eased a bit. He smiled in relief. That night, I looked at Shen Yue, once again revealing her poor, unfocused gaze. I quietly made a decision. However, it wasn't until I officially joined the group that I turned my attention to work, gradually easing the torment I felt. For Shen Yue, has autism and cannot manage the family business. Her stepfather is reluctant to hand over the large group to some eager nephews. That's why they really value me as their son-in-law. In the beginning, I was so busy that I just collapsed into bed. One morning, I was helping Shen Yue change her clothes. I didn't even have time to take advantage of the situation. I rushed off right after breakfast. Then during the lunch break, in the family group chat, I saw that Mom sent a photo. Shen Yue threw a fit and broke my antique worth millions. I felt a wave of anger rise up inside me, but I noticed my stepfather asking in the group chat, "I hope Shen Yue is okay. My uncle's younger brother has settled down. It is just a vase worth a few million." To his stepfather, it's nothing compared to his beloved daughter. I'm worried too. Did Wei Wei get scared? Should I go back and reassure her? While power can be alluring, health is the top priority. I've been working overtime nonstop for over 2 weeks. I've been having headaches every day lately. As soon as my stepfather saw my message, he quickly approved my leave request. After dinner, while everyone was hurrying back to work, I took my time driving home. As I passed by a dessert shop, I got out to grab a strawberry cake. When I got home, I asked my mom, who was waiting outside, to leave. I probably scared my mom a little today. I should prepare some calming soup for her. Once my mom took her leave, glancing back 3 times, I went inside and locked the door behind me. After spending these days together, Shen Yue has become accustomed to my pace. Upon hearing footsteps, she instantly resembled a startled deer. Her ears stood up, alertly, her vacant eyes gazed at me warily. What I love most are her hazy eyes. The gentle, upward curve of her eye corners makes her 3 years my senior. She appeared both innocent and pitiful. But when she noticed my indifferent gaze, she took on a fierce look, reminiscent of a wolf cub. I rushed over and forcefully pushed him onto the dark mattress. "What's the commotion? Do you think I've been neglecting you with all my work lately?" I intentionally twisted his words. Just as he was about to shake his head, I grabbed his chin and forcefully pried open his reluctant mouth. Then, I intentionally let her see the thin silver thread that I had pulled out. "Sister, I brought you some soft and fragrant little cakes. Would you like some?" With her eyes red, she shot me a glare. It has zero deterrent effect. It only fuels my arrogance. Eventually, I used my finger to feed him the whole strawberry cake. There wasn't a crumb left. I woke up the next day. The clock's hour hand was pointing at 7, and Shen Yue was just sitting there at the edge of the bed, completely still. Her thin, fragile figure showed her stubbornness, which made me laugh in frustration. I spent 3 months teaching him how to change his clothes. "You are just shy, not stupid. There is no way. You can't learn this." He shot me a fierce glare. His brows were tightly knit in annoyance. I glanced at the bite mark from last night at the corner of my mouth, which had already scabbed. I felt like teasing her. My sister is definitely waiting for me. I tore open the nightgown roughly. Shock flickered in her eyes. She dashed to the corner of the room and squatted down, arms so pale they've rarely seen the light of day, hugging his knees tightly. You can faintly see the blue veins under the skin. He really looks pitiful, yet cute. Right now, the minute hand of the clock is pointing at the hour. As I pull out the suit I need for work, I change in front of him, giving a cold reminder. Let's give my sister 5 more minutes. 5 minutes later, she's still not ready. I'll come over to serve. Personally, Vika's divine assistance came in the very last second of the 5-minute countdown. I changed into a new outfit. I asked her what kind of reward she wanted. His uncle's eyes widened in shock. His pale face turned bright red in an instant. His fingers pointed eagerly towards the door. After having bullied Shen Yue, my mood at work improved, as if I was no longer going to a grave. I completed today's tasks with great efficiency. I was getting ready to leave work early. As soon as I got to the elevator door, I was just picked by the boss to help out. Ji Quan. "Hold on a second. Tonight, we're having dinner with Mr. Lai from Hengyuan Group." I let out an inward sigh. That evening, to go along with the boss, to land the big order from Mr. Lee. I drank so much that my vision started to blur. When I got back, Shen Yue was still up. He gazed in the direction of the nightlight. Cause 1. A corpse that can close its eyes. I am a bit unsteady on my feet. I smiled as I walked to the bed, trying to get a better look at her. But just as I got close to her, she pulled away. I jumped out of bed in a hurry. I could hear her vomiting in the bathroom. I went over to see what was happening. I saw her face was drenched in blood. She was weakly leaning against the toilet. She trembled, a little disheveled, but still beautiful. I felt myself getting closer to Shen Yue. In a frantic reaction, she hurled everything at me. Each bang grew more urgent than the last. Each sound became increasingly jarring. His eyes held such intense disgust that it felt almost tangible. I stubbornly kept getting closer. It seems my sister just hates me. I bent down to kiss her ear. But suddenly, I got splattered all over. I halted right in my tracks. I was staring blankly at Shen Yue. I knew he wasn't mute. I still felt like a miracle had happened right in front of me. I thought with some uncertainty. It seemed like it was the first time he had ever responded to me from under the bed. Even if his words were unfriendly, I had lost my temper. I took off my dirty clothes. I carefully comforted her just like I did during the day. I coaxed her onto the bed and covered her with a blanket. I just went back to the bathroom to tidy up the aftermath. I also took the opportunity to give myself a thorough cleaning. As I stepped out of the bathroom, I made sure to check the time. It was already 1 a.m. He must be asleep by now. Never mind checking the group messages. Cuddling with my wife to sleep is what matters most. But I hadn't even reached the bedside yet. A dark figure suddenly darted towards my face. I covered my face and crouched down in pain. Tears welled up at the corner of my injured eye. The other eye clearly saw the weapon lying on the ground. It turned out to be my phone. You don't need to think too hard about who the culprit is. Have you lost your mind? I don't think I've done anything to upset you. Have I? I shouted, my question. Speaking tugged at the wound. My face twitched involuntarily, but I didn't expect Shen Yue to be even angrier than me. He frantically kicked the blanket off. He got out of bed barefoot. Then he grabbed everything in sight that he could get his hands on, and he threw it down hard onto the floor. The loud crash soon startled everyone else in the house. My stepfather rushed in wearing a coat. He coldly surveyed the room. He immediately directed his anger at me. What's all this noise about in the middle of the night? My mom came running over at this moment, with a timid tone, asking me what happened to Xiao Chuan. How can I put it into words? It felt like the first month after moving in with my mom when she remarried into the Shen family. I made every effort to win Shen Yue's favor. I took it upon myself to look after her. She only had to glance at anything she wanted. The very next moment, I would present it to her. But there was one time I misread her signals. It led to her annoyance. Right in front of my stepfather and mom. He casually tossed the chopsticks at my face. I looked at my mom, feeling wronged. I wanted to clarify things, but my stepfather softly reprimanded me. Just eat. Don't make such a big deal about it. In our family, we have a rule, no talking while eating. You might not know this, since you are new here, but you need to remember this for the future. Nobody wants to hear my side of the story. Ultimately, I had to humbly apologize to Shen Yue. How much that day resembles the today, 2 years later. It is ironic that what I tirelessly pursued, in the end, nothing has really changed. The people who dislike me still do. Inside the room, my stepfather was desperately trying to control the unruly Shen Yue. Mom called for an ambulance. The nanny was tidying up the broken pieces with cleaning tools. Only I was willing to stay put, like a prisoner on death row, marking my own confinement, hearing the siren of the ambulance, getting louder. Then, it became quieter. Eventually, they all left. The room turned empty. I suddenly found myself hating myself too. If the world won't let you in, then don't push your way in. Being a burden to others only tires myself out. If I had the courage to walk away after that first failure, I wonder if things would have turned out differently. Would the ending be different now? I parked my car right outside the office building. I spent the entire night just sitting and thinking. By the next morning, suddenly, my phone buzzed. A notification suddenly appeared in the work chat. The Haicheng branch is overwhelmed with work. We are short on marketing specialists and outstanding supervisors. Anyone interested in helping out, please sign up enthusiastically. I impulsively filled out the application form. Before the approval results were in, my phone rang twice. The first call was from 10,086. When I heard the ringtone, it sent chills down my spine. I felt a jolt of electricity throughout my body. Finally, the second call was from my stepfather. What you fear will inevitably happen. What I wished for never happened. He noticed my resignation request. There was contempt in his voice. Now you know what it is like to be afraid. I'll let it slide for Shen Yue. I raised you to this position, and this is your way of repaying me. First, you provoked Shen Yue to the point where he lost it. Then, you took the chance to escape to Haicheng. Ji Chuan. What's going on in your mind? I gripped my phone tightly, my throat feeling constricted. Since Shen Yue doesn't want to see me, I decided to leave. This is for everyone's good. The other side of the phone fell silent. I could hear my stepfather chuckling at someone else. All right, I got it. So, Wei Wei will be in Dr. Liu's care. Hey, I am feeling a bit hesitant. I'd like to inquire about Shen Yue, but then the call got cut off unexpectedly. Before long, my phone buzzed again. Your application has been approved by Chairman Shen Changjun. Nobody came to see me off. On the day I left, not even my mom came. I'll wait to settle down in Haicheng first. I just sent a message, asking why you didn't come back last night. I can't get Shen Yue to sleep, no matter how hard I try to coax her. Uncle Shen was really angry. I really don't dare to mess with that father-daughter duo. Maybe you should stay out a few more days. I responded with a bitter smile and just said, good. The branch office has more demanding tasks and tougher people. I've hardly been in touch with my family for the past 2 months. Sometimes, after a busy day, when I finally sit down, I find myself opening the family group chat without even thinking. The group messages are still frozen on the last update, a photo of the vase that Shen Yue broke. It feels like time has stopped at that moment. I tapped on it and then opened Shen Yue's profile. I found myself staring at the little girl standing on the glowing planet, looking out into the distance. I helped register this account. Just a few random messages in the group. The posts in my friend circle were also made by me. The only thing he chose himself was the profile picture, which I insisted on. The profile picture reflects how one feels. From now on, when I see your avatar, I'll know if you are in a good mood or not. It took quite some time back then. He finally managed to pick one. Just barely. Lately, I've been keeping an eye on his avatar, like a newbie just starting to learn about finance. A 100 yuan fund. I can't help but check it 800 times a day. The finance newbie is scared of losing money and getting trapped. And I am afraid of a forever goodbye after a fight. I am afraid of being slowly forgotten by people. Just thinking about this brings a dull pain to my heart. I grit my teeth and turn off the screen. I throw myself into work without hesitation, because my identity as the chairman's son-in-law is still relevant. So as long as I work hard, there is a good chance of getting rewards. Plus, with the internal resources being skewed, there are plenty of opportunities for advancement. Like the promotion list from a few days ago, my name stands out clearly on the list. I was tied up until 6 p.m. I pulled out my phone to order a drink and unlocked it. It is still Shen Yue's profile picture. I noticed that the VX backend had been deleted. After about half an hour, my female colleague brought me my coffee. Are you still working overtime tonight? Do you realize you've become the workaholic everyone sees you as? I just smiled and didn't mind. However, the female colleague isn't ready to leave just yet. She supports herself on my desk with one hand. She arches one eyebrow. Supervisor, Gekken never seems to finish his work. Your efforts are making all of us feel a lot of pressure. How about going out for some drinks tonight to relax? This person is practically saying it is rude to keep pushing myself. I readily agreed to the invite without hesitation. You've been here for a long time. You know, the female colleagues are ready with plenty of persuasion. I was suddenly blocked. I was so surprised that I almost couldn't speak. Nini, you said you would. I gave a nod. I've been feeling quite a bit of pressure lately. I'm not being dismissive on purpose. I really am tired. Ever since I got here, I've been in a constant rush. I am also experiencing intense internal conflict. I've pushed through to now, and I am completely drained both physically and mentally. As the evening draws near and the workday is about to end, the office area was buzzing with activity. I shut down my computer and stepped outside to join them. Bai Ningming, the department manager who had delivered coffee to me before, was talking about how to get there. Some younger male colleagues are taking the bus or riding electric scooters. They need to hitch a ride with the colleagues who drive. Bai Ningbing has an expensive car. The male colleagues are all vying to do it. The other 2 average-looking male colleagues are still unassigned. Upon hearing this, I shook my keys. Make sure to send me the location when you get in my car. My car stays at home. I took some savings and casually bought a car for getting around here. The 2 male colleagues both sighed in relief. We moved on to the bar. The moment I heard the rhythm of the music. My tense nerves finally eased. We all chipped in to get a private booth, chit-chatting and venting at the same time. The only thing I'm doing is drinking silently. After downing a few cups, my mind, always lost in thought, finally stops functioning. Bai Ningbing joked about me. Manager Gi Yu is caught up in his feelings. Even though I'm tipsy, I'm still quite clear-headed. I smiled and raised my hand to show off my wedding ring. What's there to worry about? I'm already married. The atmosphere turned chaotic around me. You got married, so young. I remember. You're still under 30. Being a supervisor comes with so much pressure. I guess I'll just stick to being an ordinary employee. Where does the supervisor stay? Don't get so drunk that you can't even remember anything. I won't even have a place to take you back to. I didn't bother explaining, just smiled through my drunken haze. A male coworker offered to take me home. All I wanted was to give her shelter for one night. It is because he lives far from here. I replied that it was no problem. Now, all my worries are gone. I ended up drinking even more freely. Eventually, I completely forgot how I made it home. All I remember is my male colleague helping me stand at the entrance. He asked if this was the right place. When I woke up with a hangover, my head hurt like it didn't belong to me. But once I came to my senses, it wasn't until I checked my phone that I found out. During the 14 hours I was unconscious. Other than the news alerts that popped up, not a single person tried to contact me. I dramatically punched in for an external shift. After working from home, when I went out to grab takeout, I found a note left by a male coworker at the entrance. Thanks, Supervisor Lee, for taking me in to work. I had just put down the note after reading it when my phone rang. Xiao Chuan and Shen, Yue's condition took a sudden turn for the worse. He not only hit the new nanny, but also refuses to eat. Because of this, Uncle Shen has inquired about you for the first time. Hurry back. Everyone misses you. And I smiled. Mom, I am at work, not just goofing around. How can I just come back like that? Ever since my mom married my stepfather, she hasn't worked. She spends at least 200,000 to 300,000 each month. She looks down on my small salary. You are silly. Just make sure to keep Shen Yue in check. What is it that you want, but don't have? This huge corporation is all yours. Stop being so stubborn. If you are not back by tomorrow night, then don't ever call me mom again. The call was hung up with impatience. When the screen went dark, I stood there and started to overthink. Why is Shen Yue having issues? I'm not a doctor. Is there really any difference if I go back? Even though I thought that way, I still booked a same-day round-trip ticket. In the darkness of Jiangcheng, 1,000 miles away, a man was jolted awake from another nightmare. He propped himself up on his back. The stray hairs on his forehead were damp with sweat. He unexpectedly looked a bit haggard. The nightmare plays out again. Every night, Shen Yue bent down and buried his face in his hands. A few painful sobs escaped from his throat. His misty black eyes were now red-hot and burning. His throat was parched, but the person who had poured him water was gone, and the nanny who had cared for him last night was fed up. He deliberately poured water on her. He aimed to take advantage of the situation to violate her. A hint of ruthlessness flickered in Shen Yue's eyes, her face. Every single strand of hair, only that man is allowed to touch every inch of her skin, her nails, trimmed for a long time. Suddenly, 10 purple crescent marks were left on her face. She felt a sharp, burning pain. Shen Yue blinked. Suddenly, a feeling of grievance welled up in her. Has he stopped loving me? Why is he still not back? The early flight to Haicheng offers a view of the sunrise. But by the time I get back to the Shen family, it is already noon. My stepdad isn't home. My mom is having a meal alone at the table. Upon seeing me, she gave my arm a light smack. You heartless person. Come on. Let's go upstairs quickly. I gulped down the dryness in my throat. I trailed behind her and opened the bedroom door. The inside was completely dark. Heavy blackout curtains blocked all sunlight from entering. The star lamp by the bed gave off a gentle light. Shen Yue was lying on the bed, her eyes shut tight and her brow slightly furrowed. My useless thin lips felt a bit cracked, but her pale cheeks had a rare hint of color due to the fever. My mom shot me a glance. I turned away with a blank face. First, find your cup and pour yourself a glass of water. After downing a few sips, grab the matching couple's cup beside you and fill it with 1-3. When I got back to the bedside to help Shen Yue sit up, I instinctively rubbed her soft hair with my palm. I am already incredibly skilled at this kind of care. But Shen Yue woke up after just a few sips. She looked a bit dazed. Her gaze was blank as she stared at me. I gradually felt more tense under her stare. I was worried. She might lose her temper again without thinking. I hurriedly got up from beside the bed. I heard a sound behind me as soon as I turned around. Shen. Yue tumbled off the bed. The black silk nightgown made her resemble an exquisite ice sculpture. I clicked my tongue and helped her up with a firm grip. He didn't mention why he suddenly fell so ill. She quietly leaned her head against me. She tightly wrapped her arms around my waist, like a little one who has found a safe haven, so obedient and fragile. I stood there dazed for a moment, ready to shove him aside. Suddenly, there was a burning sensation between my collarbones, and I found myself crying, confused. I gripped his chin, trying to understand what she was really thinking. All I could see were her bloodshot eyes. Out of nowhere, she leaned in to kiss me. Her dry, chapped lips were a bit prickly against mine. Yet, with the warmth of our passionate kiss, everything seemed to melt away. After 3 months of no contact, our movements felt somewhat awkward, but still, the kiss was hard to pull away from. In the end, I accidentally nipped her tongue. Shen. Yue groaned softly. I hurriedly apologized. I am sorry. I opened my mouth, wanting to see her. I looked up, my pupils dilating as if I had realized something. She shoved me away, suddenly. Then, she staggered over to the bed. She accidentally tipped over the cup. Just as the cup hit the floor, my mom hurried in, looking anxious. What is going on? What is wrong? Let's talk it out calmly. Please don't get violent or break anything. Both Xiao Chuan and Shen Yue are unwell. Can't you just let her be? I haven't done anything. My mom shot me, an angry look. I turned around and saw Shen Yue standing barefoot on the floor. She looked so panicked, like the sky was falling down. Oh no, the floor is really cold. Shen Yue is still feverish and unwell. Why didn't you help her put on her shoes properly? I just opened my mouth. Ultimately, everything I wanted to express just condensed into one sentence. Never mind, never mind. Pushing something that isn't genuine is just boring. Sometimes, it is better to stay silent than to over-explain. Overthinking will just make you feel worse. I gradually backed away to the door of the room. A flight alert popped up on my phone. The round trip takes 6 hours, but I spent less than an hour with the Shen family. After the flight back to Haicheng landed, I checked the data usage notification. A few unread messages show up right away. My mom wants to know where I went. My stepdad asks if I've become independent. I just clear everything with one click. I got home around 1 a.m. Too lazy to order takeout. I just made a bowl of noodles. I fell asleep, waiting for the noodles to soak. In the morning, I tossed it in the trash. As soon as I walked into the office, I was suddenly notified that I was laid off. The colleagues I drank with a few days ago all look upset. Giyu Swan has been performing well. Shouldn't there be an explanation whenever someone is laid off? It just feels so abrupt. You don't need to hand anything over, Giyu Chuan. Everyone has seen the hard work put in during this time. Aren't you worried that this will discourage everyone? The leader looked upset after being challenged. He just said, if you don't do it, there are plenty of others who will, and walked away. I was quickly taken out of all the work groups. The HR department is aware of my background. Somewhat awkwardly, he explained to me that this was President Shen's decision, and since you were transferred from the headquarters, the compensation is also handled by that side. I nodded, and quickly packed my things to leave. Bai Ningbing and the others still intended to throw a farewell party for me. I shook my head, and said it wasn't needed. I have a kitten to take care of, so I need to find a job to support him. Everyone looked a bit odd. At that moment, I felt complicated and didn't think much about it. Later, I don't know how, but this incident got around. I was all sweaty and busy moving this afternoon. My mom called me without any warning. She scolded me harshly. Gu Chuan, are you stupid or something? You have a home, but you won't go back, and you have shortcuts, but you refuse to take them. Do you really need to hit rock bottom before you reconsider? Are you familiar with Shen Yue? In the middle of scolding, she suddenly changed her tone. Shen Yue must be thinking about you. Don't assume she's not saying anything. But I find myself holding on to your wedding photo every day. I feel completely worn out, slumped against the packing box. I casually remarked that it's strange. The more I brush you off, the more you seem to pursue me. The harder I try, the more it feels like you're holding my weaknesses against me, and come to me to negotiate terms. The other end of the line fell silent for a long time. I kept talking, unfazed. There are things that make me happy to hear, but I won't believe them anymore, since Mr. Shen has thrown me out of the company. So let's go ahead and end my marriage with Shen Yue, too. I won't bother you anymore from now on. It sounds like something broke on the other end of the line. I frowned, ready to say something. The call suddenly got disconnected. Previously, The only way I showed my displeasure was to reply late, but now, I can do whatever I want. If it gets disconnected, then fine. After all, there is nothing that can't be gotten over. I'm not going back either. Then, I moved and changed my career. I quietly pursue the career I enjoy. I take care of a sweet and well-behaved kitten. The autumn in the south is still pretty warm. I work from home during the day. I take my cat for a walk in the evening. My life feels quite fulfilling, but my mom always tries to shake up my tranquil life. She often tries to pull me back into the mess. Shen Yue is really attractive. I just have a bit of a bad temper. She's definitely regretting snapping at you now. Every night, I have to hug our photo to fall asleep. Xiao Chuan. Uncle Shen is asking if you are coming back for the Mid-Autumn Festival. I've worked so hard to raise you. You just don't care about me. It's okay to be mad at Shen Yue, but why would you not want your mom anymore? Just think of it as your mom pleading with you. Come back for the winter solstice. I made you dumplings filled with lotus root and meat. My mom has blessed me with life and nurtured me. I've never felt the need to guard myself against her. After capturing one city after another, my shameful heart has given in. However, the tickets for the winter solstice day are all sold out. The high-speed train only has late departures available. On the winter solstice night, I boarded the train back home. My mom asked in the group chat where Xiao Chuan had gotten to. I took a look at the dark reflective window of the car. I am about to share my location. Just at that moment, the high-speed train went into the tunnel. Suddenly, the signal was lost. I tapped a few times impatiently. I accidentally tapped on the shared real-time location. I didn't feel like messing around anymore. I just pinched my fingers together to zoom out of the map. After I had a clear view of my location, I was ready to stop sharing. Out of nowhere, another unfamiliar avatar popped up next to the one above. It didn't resemble my mother's artistic vibe. It doesn't resemble the kind of landscape photo you'd expect from a stepfather. Suddenly, one person's name filled my entire mind. Shen Yue has changed his profile picture. Suddenly, my throat went dry. As I looked at his new profile picture, I felt an overwhelming urge to press the call button. I gulped. I heard my own raspy voice. Wait for me when I get back tonight. He didn't reply. However, he still hasn't left. Our distance on the map is getting closer. It was around 8:23 p.m. The train stayed at a certain station for a long time. A voice broadcast announcement. It suddenly started snowing in front of the train. We need to confirm if it is safe to continue. Dear passengers, please be patient and wait. I passed this message on to Shen Yue. I repeated this in the group chat. My mom only noticed it after 11. So, we'll head to bed first. I left the lights on and some dumplings for you at home. I smiled while holding back my inner disappointment. While paying for the bus fare, I kept chatting with Shen Yue. It is finally on the move. Are you asleep? He still hasn't replied. When the train went through the snowy city, snowflakes were falling on the window. I shared it with Shen Yue. I even took a photo to show her. She sent back a meme. It was a cat head emoji I had sent her ages ago. And it's so cute. I cherished it and stared at it for a long time. The cities I passed through also saw some snow. The train didn't really pick up speed. There was a delay for a while. After grabbing a taxi to Shen's place, the entire house was pitch dark. My smile faded away. Did the scammer really promise to leave the light on for me? The Shen family can't possibly be so stingy that they wouldn't even spare this bit of electricity bill. I wheeled my suitcase inside. As I approached the door, someone suddenly grabbed the corner of my clothing. I gasped instinctively. I quickly stepped back while staying cautious. Once I retreated to a safe distance, I quickly switched on the flashlight to search. I saw a figure nearly merging with the night, squatting by the door. His thick black hair has become wet from the wind and snow. Startled, he lifted his head, showing his pale little face, like a little abandoned cat. With his eyes slightly squinted, he waits for the compassion of a kind-hearted person. I switched off the flashlight and walked over. I squatted down to meet his gaze. Is my sister waiting for me? I asked out of a desire to know, feeling greedy for her response. Shen Yue gave a slight nod. He shook off the droplets of water on Heiji. He has been a sickly fool since childhood. He has never stepped out of the house. The biting cold wind of winter made it hard to take a step. I can't imagine what kept him going. I hurried him to get inside the house. We had a hot shower together. After that, we bundled up tightly and went downstairs to eat dumplings. Shen Yue must have been really cold. I kept sneezing multiple times. My nose tip and finger joints are red. She sat next to me and reluctantly took the antiviral pills and the cold medicine as well. Then, she used her fingers to wipe her nose. She awkwardly picked up a pen and paper to write. "Why do you want to go?" I pursed my lips. "Honestly, I have no idea where I upset you, but you never say anything to me. Always snapping at me. I feel really stifled." Shen Yue looked at me intently, like he was trying to confirm something. I let him look me over, eating the lotus root stuffed with meat. Just like I remembered. A wave of unfamiliar warmth washed over me. He quickly tapped on the cardboard to signal me if I was still leaving. I hesitated for a moment, then confirmed I was leaving. I got a new job over there. I've been doing great since I adopted a kitten. In an instant, the cardboard suddenly slipped from her hand, accompanied by a few tears that wouldn't stop flowing. I felt a tremor in my heart. Shen Yue pushed the chair aside with force. He turned and hurried away, as if he were fleeing, leaving a flustered figure behind. I hung my head and quietly finished a plate of dumplings. Afterward, I cleaned up and went back to my bedroom. The star lamp was still on. I settled down by the edge of the bed. I'm not feeling sleepy at all, but I still asked if I could switch off the light. He remained silent and shifted a little. Then he wrapped his arms around me from behind and nodded. In the darkness, the sound of breathing became distinctly audible. I have no idea who broke the rhythm first. One by one, we drew closer until our souls started to drown. In the morning, we held each other close like conjoined twins. Sunlight streams in at an angle through the center of the curtains, that never fully close. The entire room is bright and lively. I gazed out the window, lost in thought. Out of nowhere, Shen Yue's arm wrapped around my waist. I turned around to meet those beautiful eyes that seemed capable of drowning someone. I mentioned that I really like her eyes, because they are often in a misty state. Thus, when she looks at others, her gaze is exceptionally focused. In such situations, it is easy for people to feel captivated. It is the feeling of being deeply loved. I remember the first time I kissed her. This is what I think. "Good morning, sister." Shen Yue's lips curved into a smile. Seeing her smile, I couldn't help but smile back. Then, as if nothing had happened, I poured her a glass of water and asked if we had any plans for today. Shen Yue just shook her head. She never paid attention to what was going on outside. I made up my mind to ask my mom. But I didn't expect Shen Yue to follow me like a tail. My mom glanced weirdly behind me. It is comforting to say that a short separation is better than a new marriage. Xiao Chuan won't go out again after returning this time. Right? Our family lives together harmoniously. Isn't it good? I turned my head and saw it in his eyes. The light of hope. Let's talk about it later, when everything is settled. My mom suddenly lost her good temper. Then explained to me about the little kittens raised outside. What's happening? I'm completely taken aback. What's the big deal about me having a cat? My mom made mistakes too. It's genuinely a cat, not some college girl. I was utterly at a loss for words as I turned to Shen Yue. You don't actually believe that, do you? Shen Yue turned away, revealing a blush on her ear. It was noon, the day after the winter solstice. My stepfather rushed back from work just to have lunch. Before we started eating, he said to me, "I heard you've been doing really well at the branch. Now I can breathe easy. The headquarters has reserved a vice president position for you. When are you planning to start?" My mom's eyes instantly sparkled with excitement. I kept my head down and continued eating. My stepdad mentioned what I would be in charge of. "Let's see if you excel in production or management." I nodded. No need to hurry. Let me think it over before making a decision. The mood at the dinner was quite anxious. Shen Yue was taken into the study by her stepdad for a conversation. My mom pulled me downstairs and gave me a lecture. "You either go to the company and get money from me now, or give me a grandson. Either choice is fine." I feel so helpless, nodding like a chick pecking for grains. After a bit, I suddenly got a video call. I slipped away as if I found a savior. I snuck into the backyard and half lay down on the swing and chatted with my college roommate. "Hey, Gu Chuan, are you currently in Jiangcheng? Zaya wants to ask me out for dinner." "You're really smart. Dinner and movie expenses are all covered." I've been flattering him my whole life. I'm considering that I have some business that needs his help right now, so I decided to go on this date. In the video, I see myself all dressed up. Before heading out, I changed into my classic Burberry trench coat. I quickly fixed up my hairstyle. As I stood in front of the mirror, I noticed a face behind me that looked like it wanted to say something. He chuckled softly while looking down. "This outfit makes me seem like the big brother." Shen Yue's eyes flickered slightly. The college roommate I'm meeting tonight is really impressive. She landed the top offer from a major company right after graduation. She has been navigating through challenges ever since. Now she has her own unique insights. We talked as we ate. We spent over 2 hours on the meal, and we still wanted more. Once the movie was over, I thought it was the right moment. We picked another spot to talk. We started off with gossip about the latest buzz and our mutual friends. We ended up chatting for around 2 or 3 hours. His phone went off. After the call, he shyly lifted his phone. It is getting late. I should get going, otherwise, my partner will be arriving soon. I shot him a glare. Wow, flaunting your affection in front of a married person. She burst into hearty laughter. She casually mentioned to make another date sometime. I sent her off as she left. I asked the server to pack up the delicious strawberry cake I had earlier. Meanwhile, Shen Jia, in just 3 short minutes. Shen, Yue had already paused by the window 4 times. He checked the clock 7 times. 3 minutes later, he noticed the hour hand was now pointing at 10. Still, there were no vehicles in sight under the distant lights. He realized he might vanish without a word again. Just like last time. Suddenly, the sound of breathing in the air became hurried. Shen, Yue's forehead veins, throbbed. His rationality, like the person in his heart, also ran away. However, everything in the room was shattered. His eyes slowly landed on the 2 couple cups in the display cabinet. It felt like a needle. Prick. Tears pooled at the corners of Shen Yue's eyes. He lifted his hand, tightening it around his neck. She is aware that she has an illness. She finds it impossible to voice the feelings in her heart. She used to take it lightly. Now, she is desperately trying to break free from the physical constraints, biting her lip tightly. She tries calling her husband multiple times. Every attempt to speak ends in failure. Eventually, she managed to make some sound. However, her voice is hoarse and unpleasant due to lack of practice. Shen Yue is upset. She feels frustrated with herself for not knowing how to make her happy. It'll just cause her more problems. They've even changed the lock on the front door. Shen Yue can't get out to chase after it. She's just standing at the door. Each bang on the door sounded heavier than the last. Later, with her stepmother's persuasion and guidance, Shen Yue learned how to leave voice messages. At first, she advised not to rush. Just shout his name to bring him back. Xiao Chuan is my own child. I'm sure she'll come back. Shen Yue is held in high esteem. Like Ginya, she's not having any more episodes. Sitting straight on the sofa, holding her phone, she keeps repeating that line over and over. Nights after the winter solstice are growing colder. Right now, a little snow is falling. The moment I stepped out of the car, the cold wind took away all my warmth. I just got back 2 hours late. The moment I opened the door, it felt like a tribunal. Shen Yue sat there lifelessly, on the sofa. The moment I laid eyes on you, it felt like a withered tree had suddenly found spring. I, Xiao Chuan, felt completely frozen, unable to move. I noticed the strawberry cake I was holding nearly slipping from my fingers. But in the next moment, a figure shot over like a cannonball. The ribbon that held the cake swayed in my hand for a moment, before it finally dropped. I, Xiao Chuan, replied softly, feeling a bit puzzled. What were you up to? So late at night. Shen Yue tried calling you countless times, but you didn't pick up. My mom and stepdad were sitting together, both wearing displeased expressions. I hesitated to check the call log, which was filled with crimson entries. I randomly clicked on a voice message. I heard Shen Yue's soft voice calling out, Chuan Chuan, come back here. All of a sudden, my emotions surged like a dam bursting. Tears started to flow, uncontrollably. I can't help but recall the first time I met Shen Yue. It felt like a tsunami was stirring in my heart. Yet, I stood there quietly, keeping it all to myself. And now, my heart beats for him once more. But I want to proclaim to the entire world, my dear, that I've never really left. In the 5th year of marriage, my stepfather began handing over the company's management rights to me. He handed over the company's management rights to me. I was so swamped that I didn't even have time to go home. There were several times I was still in meetings at 2 a.m. I could see that Shen Yue had some thoughts on her mind, but she's no fool and knows how to be reasonable. The last few times she had an episode, she mistakenly thought I was cheating. So he came up with a solution to the problem. A Chuan takes his work home after finishing his shift. I guess he must be feeling lonely, so I followed his advice. I never expected he could actually assist me with the company's operations and strategic decisions. I stared at her in astonishment, as if I had just stumbled upon a hidden gem. Shen Yue's face flushed a deep red, spreading quickly to his ears. I've taken the initiative to study many courses on my own. It suddenly dawned on me how I could forget that he enjoyed reading. I joyfully embraced her and showered her with kisses. He didn't have time to escape. His hazy black eyes sparkled with a touch of flustered embarrassment. "You've really hurt me. Is my laughter really that precious? What will we do if we have kids later on?" Shan Yue suddenly went stiff. She looked at her belly in disbelief.